What's up, guys? Welcome back to Jsx Gaming. Today we have another episode of Let's Talk, the show where you ask and we answer. Today we have a bit of a special Halloween episode for you guys, asking some creepy questions, some horror stuff, all kinds of stuff you guys like. So we're going to hop right into this. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And leave your comments of other questions you want to ask us in future Let's Talks. So to start, what's your favorite horror game?
Well, that's a bright question to start with. It's actually a really good question.
Definitely a tough question. There's a lot of them. A lot of really good ones.
It is, because a lot of games that have that horror aspect, Castlevania.
You can't necessarily call them a horror game,
exactly.
Right? Yeah,
You're going against these things.
I definitely get that.
I definitely would be putting up, obviously, Resident Evil 2 up there.
Oh yeah, of course.
It's an amazing game. That's my favorite though. I really enjoyed Dead Space.
Dead Space for sure. Amazing game.
Yeah, we definitely. I just have to say Dead Space, but this past year, my favorite horror game was Darkwood. Caught me by complete surprise.
Terrifying.
Complete surprise.
It was just the whole atmosphere of just walking around and not seeing anything.
Yeah.
And then
things barricading your house, and then all of a sudden you hear the scratching.
Yeah. Right. It picked up super crazy, super quickly. A terrifying game.
Oh, I loved it. I was completely surprised. Me and Joey had talked about that and how I would not like that game. And it's one of my games of this year, and I don't even think it came out this year. But I like the horror genre quite a bit. I was never a fan of games like Outlast, like those puzzly style games where it's kind of like when the jump scare is coming.
Yeah, very predictable.
Just Alien Isolation kind of. Half the game I really enjoyed, but I think it just was too long. Mm-hmm. It kind of took you out of that fear after a while. The first few times you see the alien, you're like, yo, that's cool. And then it kind of got repetitive.
A bit of a usual sight, right?
Yeah, you know what's coming, and kind of had that weirdness to me. It had that Splinter Cell feel where you're waiting minutes and minutes on end just to move, and it's like, I want to progress. Okay, I gotta wait for him to walk this way and then walk this way again.
Yeah, definitely.
But that's the thing, I do love the horror genre, but I don't. I like Silent Hill. I think everybody does. Silent Hill 2 was a great game. It's a matter of, I can't really answer that because there's so many games I like that are in the horror genre. But definitely, I'd have to go with the Resident Evil 2. Sorry. As for I guess, and Dead Space. I don't really know. I'll have to come back to that one before this episode's over.
I think. As of right now, for me, I'd have to say Subnautica is a game I'm playing. I played that game a lot. I really like this game.
That's an exploring underwater game.
Yeah, so when I first started playing this game, I was like, I didn't even think it was a horror game. I thought it was going to be a little survival game, just swimming around the water. But it's just these moments of just absolute darkness around you. All these crazy sounds, things banging off your submarine. You're like 500 meters deep, like you're nowhere near your shelter, anything, no light. And then out of nowhere, you'll just see like a Reaper Leviathan go by your
sudden jump
thing, and you're just like, what the hell is that?
I like stuff like that though.
And like there's just all kinds of situations where you're going down deep into like the core of this planet, finding like alien research sites.
Wow.
And you start finding out about like the story. That's a super deep story. It's a story about a virus that infects the precursors, the aliens who used to live here. They tried to find a vaccine, and then they couldn't, so the few people who were still healthy evacuated the planet, and they basically put a gun on this planet to destroy anything that goes to this planet to stop the virus from spreading. And it was just such a crazy story, and you're trying to get rescued by people, and then your ship gets shot down.
And here I'm thinking you're just exploring the ocean.
No, you're going around. You're like you're talking to aliens. Like it's a super deep game. I wasn't expecting anything like that.
Wow, I'm gonna have to check that one out now because I thought it was just an exploration game. One of those like chill, relaxing games. You're just like, we'll go explore.
That's exactly what I thought.
Like, what was it called? Abzu or something like that?
Yeah.
That's what I thought it was, just like another one like that. But no, that sounds actually pretty cool.
Yeah, no, that game's terrifying. I definitely recommend you all to play that.
See, I really like the horror genre. Like, I liked Evil Within 1 and 2. Both of those games, the starting of it was just got you right in. The problem with
it's the atmosphere of the game, right?
It's so hard to find a game with atmosphere to keep it going through the integrity of everything. Like, if you're playing a game I mentioned Blair Witch Project, actually. The game, I don't hate it. I think it's good. I think that the developers had love for the Blair Witch Project movie and the franchise, but there were just parts where you're so into it, you're just immersed. Yeah. And then something pulls you out. It's like they just went too long with that immersion with the atmosphere. So the entirety of the game as a whole, I didn't like it as much as if it would have been half the game. Evil Within 2 specifically, that first half of that game was amazing.
Yeah.
When you leave the house in your second chapter and you're running through the town and there's those demon guys, that was amazing. In the first one, and you're running through the cornfields right after you escape the butcher guy, amazing. Totally reminded me of Resident Evil 4. And then it just kind of got weird and the psychological thing kicks in.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of that. I like to visually see the atmosphere take place and those cornfields where you're running through. And, your chainsaw maniacs running at you. Like, I'm trying to think of, like, I love the horror genre. Like, my favorite games are obviously basically almost all horror. Like, I love Bloodborne. Do I consider it a horror game? No.
Okay, yeah.
I consider it an action game.
Yeah.
People will say it's a horror because of what you're dealing with, but it's more of an action, not immersed into like the jump scares that are going to occur. Right? So it's really hard when I'm looking at games like Lord of Shadows, Castlevania on the 360. I love the game. I think the Castlevania world's amazing. It was, to me, that was an amazing game. But do I consider it horror? No. But you're fighting werewolves, you're fighting vampires, but you're not immersed in it like that jump scare is going to be.
Yeah.
I was playing recently Blood Rush on the VR, and to me, that's a horror game. Because there are parts when you're shooting shit and it's like wicked, but then you look to your left and all of a sudden there's a ghost that just appears. You're like, almost got me. Mm-hmm. So it's really hard for me to say what my favorite horror game is, but definitely I'd have to say, like, as of recent though, Darkwood was one of those ones that just caught me by surprise.
Yeah, Darkwood was phenomenal.
It was just that it didn't matter. It wasn't, I don't even know how to describe it. It wasn't scary, but it was like every move you're doing, you're just so tense.
You're so concentrated on every move that you're making, every sound that's going on.
You step on a branch, you're like, where'd that come from?
Right? So, it's like everything sets you off.
That was a great game.
Definitely a great game.
I'd have to say right now, it would be the Resident Evil 2, because I really enjoyed it, and Darkwood. But there's other ones that easily I could bring up, but those would be my two, basically.
Talk about horror games for hours and hours and hours.
100%. I'm still waiting for that game that's just absolutely terrifying. That you just, it takes you in another direction. You just, if Joey was here, he'd be like, he couldn't play it. For him, it's Alien Isolation. For him, it's any game that has a jump scare. I wish I could be like that.
All right. What's our next question here? Your favorite horror movie? What is your favorite horror movie?
See, back to this one again. My favorite movie of all time is considered horror. Scared people back in 1978. Yeah. I don't think it's a horror movie, and that is Jaws.
Oh, yeah.
But it's not really a horror movie by my standards. Okay. So I'd have to go back and go either Evil Dead series. I loved 1 and I loved 2. Dead by Dawn was a great game. Or great movie, sorry.
Yeah.
Or Dawn of the Dead, the original one.
Dawn of the Dead.
You know what? As a kid, that movie just blew my mind.
Yeah, same here. I have to go with Dawn of the Dead because that movie was like the horror movie of my young childhood.
Yeah, Like,
there's so much nostalgia that I have with that movie.
That's the thing. Like, even Night of the Living Dead, like the original or the remake that Tom Savini did, love them.
Yeah, it's not the same.
Romero was a genius, and his movies will never be ever. No one will ever top those. Because Dawn of the Dead, the first time I watched that, I remember being a kid and just being like, yo, if I was in a shopping mall and zombie apocalypse happened, what would I do?
The first thing I thought of, Dead Rising.
Yeah.
Dead Rising in a movie. And I love Dead Rising. The game Dead Rising was a blast.
The first one was great.
Just jumping around a giant mall, killing zombies with stupid stuff, right? It was amazing. Absolute just have fun game.
Yeah. That's why I like movies like that, though. Like I said, I love the zombie genre. I love every movie, basically every horror movie you can name one. I got a thing for them. For sure. Right? So...
So, do you think that the inclusion of horror icons is a good idea or a quick sell in games?
I think it's a great idea. I mean, you look at games like Dead by Daylight and you throw in Michael Myers and Freddy Krueger.
Yeah, they thrive on it, right?
And it's like, boom, there's quick sells, but people are in the horror genre, they jump on them. I mean, I know myself, I didn't play too much of Dead by Daylight. I know you did.
Oh, yeah, I played
right? So, but it caught my attention because all of a sudden, basically, one of my favorite characters are both of those two. Like, I love Elm Street 3 and I love Michael Myers. So being able to play as them was awesome. Just like when it was, oh my god, I'm gonna get it wrong. Call of Duty Ghost. They had that one with the death matches where you could get Michael Myers.
Yeah, Michael Myers.
I didn't give a shit about Ghost game, but I wanted to play just to get that.
Myers,
exactly.
Right? Exactly.
So it made me jump in and play for weeks and weeks and weeks.
The reason I started playing that game was that someone plays Myers. And Predator, because they had Predator.
See, that's the thing. I do remember when you're putting an icon of your either watch or in a comic book, whatever it be, into something, hell yeah.
Oh, yeah,
it's both, man. It's a quick sell and a good idea. As far as I'm concerned,
for sure,
I'd throw the money in to buy play as them. I mean, Ghost Recon, Wildlands, man, that Predator DLC or that event, that was just amazing. And I wish that stuff like that could literally be redone over and over and over, like that they would put stuff like that in all the time. Because that was awesome.
Sure.
Like, I don't see why they can't put I'm gonna say Leatherface because he's not really supernatural, but this is a joke. Throw Jason Voorhees in on a Ghost Recon game.
Yeah,
make him hard to kill.
Why not, right?
So
I definitely agree. It's definitely a good idea. It's also like a quick sell for the game. But what's the harm in that, right?
That's what I mean. Like they added so much to Dead by Daylight with Pyramid Head and all those guys. Like you're hitting every different genre. I think even as a survivor, you can play as Ash.
Yeah, you can play as Ash from Evil Dead. Yeah.
Like there you go. Drop $5, $10, whatever it is. You got people that are into a game that are gonna drop it like crazy. If you drop those in.
Yeah, I remember.
They're fun.
Almost all of those DLCs I bought.
Yeah.
Because I love Dead by Daylight and I love those horror, those horror franchises. It was win-win, right? I play a game I like, play the character I like.
Hell yeah. I think it's a great idea. It just adds for more, especially for lovers of a game. Because I've always bitched about that when you have certain games where they just don't give out more expansions or DLCs and they just stop and they get ready for the next one or something to go on. Yeah. What about the people that are still playing that game that love it so much?
Yeah.
Really. Like, I'm going to argue this again. Back to Bloodborne. Joey talked about Fallout. I talk about Bloodborne. Why did they just continue making more DLCs for it?
Yeah.
Everybody wants a Bloodborne 2. I really want a Bloodborne 2. But they stopped and that was it. It's like, cool. You dropped out.
They could have made a ridiculous
amount of money. You dropped out your DLC and that's it. But then you're leaving us with wanting more. Well, if you're not dropping a new game, that's fine, but give us what people want, and that's why I've always bitched about. If you drop more DLCs or hell, you drop new weapons in the game, for Christ's sakes, people are gonna replay it and get more.
Yeah, you're gonna get another 100 hours, whatever, 200 hours gameplay out of that.
I definitely would.
A couple of games.
There's nothing more I can do in that game when I still play it from time after time.
Yeah, I totally get that.
So I think that'd be I think adding horror icons and stuff like that, or even events for things. Oh yeah, they're both quick sells and a great idea.
Yeah,
especially this time of year.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Right?
In the Halloween time of year, you gotta have some good Halloween events coming out. Yeah. Some good scary guys in your games.
Yeah, drop some good games in. You're like, who cares? Even events doesn't matter. Like Borderlands should have 100 different events for Halloween. Oh, yeah. Call of Duty will probably drop something, but make it like
Borderlands is always good for that. Their seasonal events.
Yeah,
they tend to be pretty good for those.
Yeah. Yeah.
Speaking of horror icons, our next question: what is your favorite horror icon?
See, I'm old school. I'm lame. Michael Myers.
Michael Myers, yeah. Michael Myers is definitely a good one. Interesting character, long franchise. I think it's probably most people's favorite, or at least up there on their list. Definitely one of the most famous ones.
Oh yeah. I mean, you got people again. I like Jason a lot, or Leatherface. I do love Texas Chainsaw. I got a shirt collection of Texas Chainsaw, but I've always had a particular thing for Michael Myers. There's just been that guy with the white face and dark and just coming out of the shadows, and man, he's awesome. Plus the theme song.
It's definitely really cool. Yeah, the theme song. It's still
stick in your head
as soon as you hear it, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I have a Michael Myers mask. I love Michael Myers.
So do I. It's in the game room.
As for my favorite horror icon, I don't know if I could really pin it down to just one. Like I love horror and horror film so much, and there's so many, just up there big names in horror that I don't even know if I could necessarily put it to one specific name. But Michael Myers is definitely up there on the list. Probably Jigsaw, just because I think it's such an interesting character.
Yeah.
And Jigsaw and the Jigsaw Killer, Amanda, keep them the same character.
Yeah.
I definitely have to say Myers and Jigsaw, because I like how Jigsaw is such a so different, right? He doesn't just want to kill. He wants to see if you can get out of it,
Yeah.
right? He wants to see if you can save yourself.
Yeah.
And how well you can listen and how well you can get through these different tasks.
Mm-hmm. Redemption.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is the thing. I like Saw 1.
Yeah.
I mean, I've watched them all, don't get me wrong. I think they're good films, but Saw 1 was my favorite.
Definitely the best.
Just because it was that cool concept of, there's not much going on here, but this is really good.
Yeah.
But, again, it ties into our next question, actually, that what genre of scary movies do you prefer, right? And it's the same thing, like, obviously, and I will always state this, I am a zombie horror.
Oh yeah, zombies for sure.
I love, since I was a kid, Dawn of the Dead, Return of the Living Dead Part 2. You know, I can keep going on about them. I always loved those. I remember being like a kid, like 10 years old, and being in my basement watching the Evil Dead series.
Yeah.
And people are like, how? It's just like, I love the character Ash. I love the Demon Knight guys. It was just amazing.
Yeah.
To me. But I've also, like, said, like, I love werewolf movies.
Oh yeah.
Right? I mean, they're very far and few between.
Sure.
Like, I love the Howling series. I love the original American Werewolf in London.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes if the werewolf doesn't look good,
I feel like werewolves can definitely. It's a bit too easy to make them cheesy.
One of the best werewolf movie story I've ever seen was a surprise to me. It was a movie called Dog Soldiers. I recommend it. Anybody
I remember
watches
watching that actually.
It's Night of the Living Dead with werewolves.
Yeah.
That's all.
It was actually a very good movie.
It's awesome. Right? But then again, I'll always like my 80s cheesy horror flicks.
Oh yeah.
Everything.
The classic horror,
I
for
grew up on
sure.
them.
You always gotta have some of that in there.
Always. The cheesier the better.
I definitely like the Asian horror because that's like the creepy, terrifying stuff. They have some just next
They do.
horror in Asia, right? But yeah, I'd have to say all 80s horror movies.
Damn right.
The cheesy horror movies, like,
Yep.
come on. That's Halloween.
That is
horror.
That's all you need on.
Right?
For all October. Just one after another.
One after-
Hell, if you still got the old school VHS, put the tapes in. It's like, this is nostalgia at its fullest.
Exactly.
Like, oh my god, I love 80s horror movies.
For sure.
And even the comedy horrors of stuff. Like,
there's so
movies like Monster Squad and stuff like that. Like, these are total kids' movies by
they're
my
fun.
standards.
They're
It's
just
like,
so
yo.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Because
know.
you think about you were watching these movies when you were little, right?
Yeah.
It's all the nostalgia with them, you know. You're thinking about, like, I don't know, like getting home from trick or treating on Halloween and watching a bunch of stupid movies with your parents,
I
right?
still remember doing stupid shit like watching like quotes from old movies, like Night of the Creeps.
Yeah.
You know, the Asian man laughing at the cop about this guy screaming like a banshee running out of the hospital because the guy got reanimated.
Yeah.
And it's like, I haven't seen this movie in over 20 years. Still remember the quotes, still remember the lines.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh, I just love the 80s horror movies. I do. They'll always be my favorite. Right? But as for a genre, again, I really do stick more with I got a thing with zombies, and I know that people say it's overplayed with Walking Dead, Beyond the World of Walking Dead, Fear of the Walking Dead, but you know what? It's not the same.
Can you ever really overplay zombies, though? Like, you can, but like...
But if something's done well, it doesn't matter if it's being overplayed. You'll have 20 piles of shit come out of something, but then you'll have that one beautiful... Like, before Shaun of the Living Dead, there was really no good zombie movies for a couple of years. I am a fan of the remake of Dawn of the Dead. I really did think it was a very good movie. A lot of people don't. But other than that, during that time frame, nothing had come out. Okay, so everything that came out was kind of cheesy bad.
Yeah.
Cool. Shaun of the Dead comes out, and it's like, this is a masterpiece comedy horror movie. That's great.
Yeah.
And it's
Shaun of the Dead's
like,
amazing.
but people are like, oh, well, they got overplayed. You can. If something's done well, it can't be overdone. The Walking Dead, people like it still. They still watch it, but they're not held back from it. They're like, oh, well, they're comparing everything to The Walking Dead. So I'm just kind of against that aspect. So for me, I don't care about that. If something's done well, I like it. The Walking Dead's had good seasons, good episodes, good everything. As a whole, I think it detoured its course.
I can't watch The Walking Dead anymore. It's too much, too long at this point. I definitely enjoy the beginning of it. But yeah, no, Walking Dead's definitely overplayed. But
But if an episode's done or something else comes out, like The World Beyond Walking Dead, for example, was premiered last week.
That was
but
cool.
It's something new now. That's done well. It's that enticement to watch something else until inevitably it gets overdone or there's no more good ideas to go with it, which is what happened with Walking Dead. But to me, the first 3 seasons of Walking Dead were great. They were good entertainment.
Oh yeah.
Then it's just that kind of thing. But if another show comes out, Fear the Walking Dead started out, it was like, okay, this is a new take. It's kind of cool. Watch this first season, I think, and then it kind of got a little weird.
Yeah. Fear the Walking Dead.
But if something's done well and they keep it going, then I would watch it. Ash versus Evil Dead. I watch it.
But that's the thing about zombies is there's so much stuff that's always going to be coming out about zombies.
Yeah.
You're bound to have something good.
Exactly.
You're bound to have something good.
And that's the thing. If you give it a said, you got 20 piles of shit here. Out of those 20 piles, if you pull one out that's really good, hey, I don't mind.
Who cares, right?
It's worth it, right? Yeah. So here's a question then for you. Have you ever stopped playing a game because you were too scared?
Not permanently, but I've definitely gotten terrified and exited a game before. And stopped playing for a couple minutes or an hour or something. But no, I always go right back for it. I love that. But no, I was talking about Subnautica earlier, and I remember it was the first time that I went and I saw one of these Reaper Leviathans. I was in a safe area. It was supposed to be one of the safe areas you're allowed to just hang out in, little light farming, exploration. And I was going around the ship that you arrive in that crashes. And I didn't know that there was a Reaper Leviathan around there. So I'm going around, I'm not deep at all. I'm 50 meters deep or something like that. Going around my little submarine, picking up stuff. And then I hear a little bit of a echoing noise a little far away. I'm like, what is that? Oh, it's probably nothing. It's probably just something small, right? And then about 5 minutes later, my submarine out of nowhere just spins, right? So I'm like, what just happened, right? So I'm looking around trying to find this thing, and then just from right underneath me, this giant creature with 6 red teeth coming out of its mouth, right? Just comes right up over me. Nope. I turned off the game. I didn't want to do it. It was nighttime in the game, big creature that I've never seen before. Nope, I don't want it.
Oh.
But I've always gone back, always start playing again. I'll never just completely stop playing a game because I get too scared.
Yeah.
Right? What's the point in that, right? Because you're playing those games to get scared, right? That's what
exactly
you want.
it. That's exactly it right there. I love that feeling of that unease as you're doing something. Yeah. Not necessarily scared, but it's you're going to turn that corner and there's going to be an enemy next there that's either A, too tough to fight, you're trying to avoid, or it's going to be a good fight, but if you're on your last little leg, for example, we'll play let's say a Dark Souls for a second, the bonfire is just over there, but you got to get there, but there's this guy in the way. I find that worse, where it's I'm taking you, but if you die, you got to go back 2 hours. Yeah. I like that, but I've never not played a game out of being scared. We actually talked about this a little while back, me and Joey, about Outlast and why I don't particularly think Outlast is a very terrifying game, because everything has that precursor. You know what's going to happen. You're walking through the cornfields, you see the 2 feet, inevitably within the next area, somebody's face is going to appear.
Yeah, I feel like Outlast felt too much like a movie.
No, but to me that's okay.
Right.
It's just, you knew when just jumps were going to happen.
Yeah.
And that was my issue. And I do have, I don't have a problem with it, but the developers, they put those in for a reason.
Yeah.
I just like when it's an unexpected thing.
Yeah, it was definitely a good game, Outlast. I did enjoy it. But there's definitely room for improvement.
Yeah.
Definitely room.
Oh, there's always room for improvement, I think, with games. But I understand why people liked it. It's just, it wasn't my cup of tea when I'm trying to find that horror experience that's going to be terrifying, that you're going to take up. Turn the TV off, be like, nope, I'm done playing it.
Don't get me wrong, there were some cool scenes in that.
100% there was.
Game, right?
There was some great things in that.
Gruesome areas, some really creepy atmospheres in that game.
It's just, I don't know. I've talked to other people about that too before, where it's people who like horror, they expect these things. It's almost like a rule where, okay, well, this is going to happen right here, and that's when it happens. And that's the problem, is you're running into this, and you played so many games, you watch so many movies.
You know
when
so much about horror that you can predict everything.
Everything, right? Which is great if you're somebody, again, even though Joey's not here and the talk behind his back. If you're like Joey, he's shitting his pants and jumping on the ceiling, and it's great to watch him do that. But wanting to have that same feeling, it's right. So that's why I've turned a lot of my gaming just being into whatever I find fun.
I think that's why Darkwood stood out so much, because it was such a shake-up from the normal, what you'd expect from a horror game, right?
Yeah, it wasn't jump scares.
It wasn't jump scares.
No.
Everything you knew was coming at you. You knew it was going to be right there. You knew exactly when it was going to hit you. It's a matter of what's going to happen when it hits me.
Exactly. Or what was that sound?
Yeah.
As night turned like night, and you're like walking, all of a sudden a twig breaks, and you're like, huh. And the fact you can only use your light to see that area.
This much in front of you.
Yeah.
So it's like you hear a sound, you're searching all around you, you're trying to figure out what made that sound.
Or that tapping at the windows when you're barricaded, and you're like, oh my god, sitting in front of the lamp going, oh please let me last till daylight, because I don't have nothing.
That was always so terrifying, just sitting by your little lamp, just sitting there with like your knife, hoping nothing comes into your little house.
Loved it. Honestly, loved it.
Absolutely, just
I adore terrifying. That game. I adore that
chills
game.
Through your body.
Oh yeah.
Playing that.
That's why I'm still so amazed by it. Like, it's nothing, but it's just, it was there. Great game.
Great.
Do you think it should be mandatory for companies to include an easy difficulty, i.e. games like Sekiro, Dark Souls, and whatnot?
I think that they should, because I feel like a lot of people don't want that. Because even though when I play those games, I want that brutal. I want to be making like no progress every day. I want to be mad at this game. You know, I want that. But there's also those people who they look at these games and they're forced not to play them because they don't have whatever it may be, like the timing or the hand-eye coordination to pull off some of this stuff. So I think there should be a mode that relies more on the story and the world. Because if you look at Dark Souls, the story of that goes so deep. The world is massive. There's so much lore there. Mm-hmm. But there's these people who can't experience this because they're restricted by the difficulty, right?
Yes, but the difficulty also makes those games... See, I disagree. I think that it should not be mandatory. I think a developer should have the rights to do whatever they want with their game, and people can play them. I'm against people having their impressions of what they want a developing company to do that are going to hinder them from doing the actual masterpieces that they want to do. Mm-hmm. You put in an easy mode in something, then it's going to be something else that has to change, something else. See, I love the Dark Souls world. I love the Bloodborne world. Sekiro, I mean, we have a love-hate relationship on. But, I love the Surge too. I love these games that have a difficulty because you get better as you play.
Yeah.
You die. Oh, yes, you get frustrated. You get mad. You rage, But as you progress, though, when you beat that boss, you beat that enemy, you do anything, it's that satisfaction.
Yeah.
It's almost like, you beat the first boss, and he's killed you a dozen times.
Definitely.
You beat him, it's like, oh, I'm good now, I go further, and it's that drive. If you had that on easy mode, you wouldn't have that same effect on it.
Definitely.
And to me, it takes it away. So I personally think, hey, if you want to play this game, understand it's hard. Yeah. Don't bitch about it because you buy a fucking game, and all of a sudden it's too hard for you to play. Well, you may not have time to play it, so what?
Yeah.
Don't put an easier mode. Make the developers do what they want to do. That's what I personally believe, and I've always said that.
Yeah.
Because games get too interfered by what other people want, and no one's perfect. So a developing company like From Software should never have to be forced to be we'll put an easy mode in to make it easy for everybody. No. Mm-hmm. No. Let them do what they want to do. If you think you want to play this game, you're only going to get better by playing this game.
Yeah.
So therefore, if you're playing this game and you can't get better at it, well, then have more time. This is what YouTube's for. To watch people play, to learn how to play better, to do all these things, Yeah. There's walkthroughs, there's guides, there's all of these other materials out there you can use to better yourself in a game. But you shouldn't have to, companies should not have to be forced to put an easy mode in for people who don't want to take the time to enjoy that game. Because then what's it going to be? Dark Souls takes 40 hours to beat. On easy, you'll be in 8 hours.
Yeah.
Right? Well, part of the whole process of the game like Dark Souls or Demon Souls is the longevity of it because it's difficult. Mm-hmm. So you're not experiencing what the game is by making it easy.
Yeah. I definitely think it wouldn't be the same experience by a long shot. But I know, I would say probably about... half the people who I've asked if they play Dark Souls, and who I know, I talk to, probably about half of them have either not started or not been able to play very much of Dark Souls because of the difficulty.
But games have a learning curve. Once you learn the learning curve in it, you get better. Yeah, you grind. You do all these things. How's it any different than playing Call of Duty online? You start off, you have nothing. You got a guy who's already prestiged a couple times, and he's got every gun. You're gonna get smoked.
Yeah.
Straight up, you're probably gonna get smoked in no time. But you're gonna eventually get a couple kills. You're gonna eventually get better.
Oh, yeah.
And in games like this, the Souls games, that's the point of it. Is you learn your enemies' moves. You learn their patterns. You learn this. You learn what works on them. That is why these games are so good, because they are so difficult. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, I've argued games before. I've yelled at games a lot. I've raged a lot. You know, Ninja Gaiden Black. I hate that game, but I still played it on the exact same difficulty that I started playing it on until I beat it, because it was like, yo, I'm not gonna go and play this on an easier difficulty and not have that experience.
Yeah.
When I beat this game, it's gonna be, oh, I beat this game. Mm-hmm. Dark Souls to me are exactly the same. It's like, yo, I'm gonna beat this game. I don't want an option because one of the bosses are too tough and I can't beat them. Mm-hmm. Well, eventually you're gonna get up, you're gonna play that, you're gonna beat that boss, and you're gonna jump up and be like just in heaven, like, ah. Right?
Definitely. I remember my first time fighting Ornstein and Smo. I must have fought them 300 times before I killed them. That time I killed them, I was jumping up and down. Everyone in the house heard me. Everyone in the street probably heard me celebrating. Right?
And then that feeling is just amazing.
Yeah, for
sure. And then you go to the next boss, and you know what? Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're not. So it's just, I don't know. To me, I don't think that that company should have to mandatorily put an easy, normal, and hard mode. I think whatever they want to do is part of their project, their dream. They should be able to do. And people who want to play it. People who don't. Because I said I could not imagine myself playing Bloodborne on an easy mode. It's like, are you kidding me?
I think it's something that there's a lot of people who are either they don't want to put the time in. They don't want to dedicate themselves that much to learning about this game, and they just want to explore the world. They want to see what it has to offer. You know, they hear people talking about these games.
Well, then that's what things like Twitch and stuff are for.
Right? Yeah.
Straight up. Like, you want to play, you want to play. You don't want to have to be forced to do something. I don't know. I just think that game developers should not have restrictions that they have. To be honest, I've said that a lot. Let them have their freedom and creativity and watch where they go with it, because games will be a hell of a lot better with that creative freedom rather than continuously having blocks in the road to like, no, now we gotta do this, now we gotta do this, now we gotta do this.
Yeah.
Even though it's nothing big, now we gotta put an easy mode in. No, man. As far as I'm concerned, make games all on hardcore. There you go.
Yeah.
You know what? Then there's less problems.
Alright. Well, you know what? I think that's actually a pretty good place to leave it right there.
Yeah.
Nice open-ended question for you guys. How you guys let us know what you think about that. Do you think games should be forced to have an easy mode in them? Or do you think the creators of the game should be able to decide whether they want to have it as a base mode? Yeah, that's about it. Send in your next questions for the next episode of Let's Talk, where we can answer some more. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I know we did. We both love horror. It's like our favorite thing to talk about, especially in this creepy season. You know, Halloween, October, all that. And yeah, we will catch you guys next time. Take it easy.
See ya.